Good morning, good morning, good morning, business owners. Leon Street in the house, and we're back. We're back with another great topic. Apologies for not being here on last Wednesday. And for those of you who noticed, was actually in the process of packing to move house, and it's. I guess the topic of today is aptly appropriate because I'm going to be talking about a specific topic that we all deal with and all go through. I don't know whether we all deal with it, but we all go through, which is how to deal with emotional stress for entrepreneurs. And if you can see me right now, you can see there's a few boxes just behind me. And as I said, we moved. And so we've moved into a beautiful new home, which is amazing. And, along with that, there's obviously a lot of stress that goes, with moving, whether it's minimal, medium, or high, it really doesn't matter. But today I'm talking about the different, I guess, types of emotional stress that entrepreneurs go through. So whether you're a coach, consultant, business owner, you'll have probably gone through some of these things. And I'm going to be focused on what we can do in order to understand the causes and what we can do to cope with emotional stress. And for me, this is important so that you guys can take, a lot from this in order to, I guess, even just become aware. And I speak to a lot of business owners, obviously coaching a lot of people around marketing. But I can tell you the one thing that I come across more so, even though I'm a marketing coach, the biggest thing that I help my clients to deal with, is dealing with emotional stress because change brings a lot of stress in our lives, whether it's a good thing, as in the thing that we're changing towards and making, I guess, the direction that we want to head in, getting rid of old habits and creating new ones, or getting rid of old ways in order to create, new goals and achieve those new goals. Dealing with emotional stress is a big thing. So before I get into the depths of what I'm going to share with you, remember, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to leonstreet.com/YouTube. You can see the link on screen for those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube. For those of you listening back on the podcast, remember it's www.leonstreete.com/YouTube. Go there. You'll be redirected to YouTube where you can just hit subscribe to the channel. Lots of great videos on there, great content, and you'll be notified of all my upcoming live streams. So you can join me live, remember, on a Wednesday evening UK time and a Sunday morning. What's the advantage of joining me live? You can ask questions, you can drop them in comments. So let's get into this quote. First of all, I want to set the tone. I don't know if any of you have ever come across Wayne Dyer, but um, a great guy on, I guess, personal development and spirituality, and I really love his teachings and what he represents. And actually, he's got a really great film that he put together. I forgot the title, and so in between this, I'll see if I can find the title because I saved it in my YouTube playlist. But let's get into the quote. The truth is that there is no actual stress or anxiety in the world. It's your thoughts that create these false beliefs. You can't package stress, touch it, or see it. There are only people engaged in stressful thinking. So, as I said, I wanted to set the tone with this. And if you look at this quote, what he says, and you take in what he says, you can't package stress, touch it, or see it. There are only people engaged in stressful thinking. So this is for me. It's really powerful to set the tone of what I want to talk about today because stress is what we think. And I'm going to give you a quick story from my mom from this week, as part of us moving home. My mom, she helps out and she cleans for me once a week. So I employ my mom. So I took her out of full-time employment, so that she only works like literally 1 day a week, and she works for me. So she has a lot less stress. However, my mom was cleaning the old house that we moved from. And as part of her cleaning routine, it was amazing. But she made one mistake. And the mistake was she was cleaning the oven, and the oven used some specific chemicals. And she was cleaning it on a sponge, and she left the sponge on the countertop in the kitchen. And so the sponge left a kind of burn mark because it had these acid chemicals in on the wood because it was left overnight by accident. So when my mom turned up the next day, she was horrified, because this countertop had this kind of triangular kind of burn mark on it. And so she messaged me and said, Leon, I'm worried. I've caused this damage to the counter. And I said, okay, no worries. Send me a picture just so I can understand, what kind of damage has been done. So she sent me the picture. I'm like, okay, great. So I see this burn mark and I'm like, okay, it needs to be fixed. So I just think instantly, right, I can get some sandpaper, fine grained sandpaper, sand it down, and then it shouldn't be too bad, right? And I said to my mom, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I've got a million and one other things to get sorted as part of handing over the old house. But anyway, so I do that. And as when I go and see my mom on the day, just before I start kind of taking care of the counter, she's like, I've been so stressed. I even had a headache, Leon, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, gosh, like, isn't that evidence in itself to show that, when we're in stress, it is all about stressful thinking. And here's my mother, she got a headache stressing over a kitchen counter that can be remedied and was remedied. So, I was able to fix it. But I thought that just goes to show that there are only people engaged in stressful thinking. And don't get me wrong, and I'm going to speak to you about some of the causes of stress in a moment. There's a lot of stressful things that we have to go through as human beings, never mind entrepreneurs or business owners. But it's the thinking that manifests itself into the physical. Here's my mom. She made a mistake with some cleaning, and now she's got a headache first thing in the morning and for most of the morning. And I'm like, it's crazy. So then anyway, I'll fix this countertop. So I sand it down, do a bit of DIY. And by the way, I'm not the greatest at DIY, but I can do the basic minimal stuff. So then I send a picture to my mom, and I'm like, here, look at the difference between when the counter was burnt to how it looks now, mom. And she messaged back saying I was so worried. So she was still carrying the worry like 2 days later. And this is this is the point I want to get to with stress. It's the thinking, it's the being in that environment of stress that is not good for us. So what I'm going to share with you is some of the things that you can do to kind of take yourself out of that, and to move yourself to a better place of thinking, which is why I shared this quote with Wayne Dyer. The truth is that there is no actual stress or anxiety in the world. It's your thoughts that create these false beliefs. Stress is a false belief. And so let's look at what you can do to deal with that. So the causes. So what are the causes of stress? Relationships. This is probably the biggest and most powerful. And I was speaking to an entrepreneur recently, and um, on one of my coaching programs, and he's doing some new stuff, some new things that I'm teaching on how to grow his business, market his business, get new leads, and just take things to the next level. And as he's doing these actions, he's getting some results, getting some good results. But there are a few things that need to be adjusted. And what I found really strange is that he kept sending me a message of quitting. Oh, this isn't for me. This isn't working the way that I want. And I was like, this is weird because this person has been on other programs I've run in the past. And I'm like, where is this behavior coming from? Like he's gone from being this kind of achiever, like determined high achiever, to a person who wants to quit. And I was like, this is really weird. So then I send back a few messages on Messenger, voice notes, and say, look, if you need to speak, let's speak. Something just didn't seem right. So we speak for about 30 minutes, and then he's happy, wants to go again, make headway, and achieve new things. And then over the next few days, I then get some more messages of like, oh, this really isn't working, I tried what you implemented. And what was really strange is that what was implemented was activity that generated new results. And so as I'm looking at the results, I'm like, this is bizarre because the results are there. And again, there was more conversation of this isn't for me, I'm going to quit. So then anyway, where am I going with this story, guys? So as this person is telling me, want to quit, want to quit, want to quit, I say, look, I say, I understand where you are. Let me process a refund for you because I'm not sure what's going on. You're getting results, but you keep telling me you want to quit and this isn't for you, but yet you want to change your life. And we're already getting results in the direction of where you want to be. So, like, I have not got a clue. So, I spent time sending some messages. And so, anyway, me saying I'm going to issue the refund must have triggered something in my client, right? And so then he sends me a message saying, no, don't do the refund. And so then now I'm confused because I'm like, he keeps telling me he wants to quit. I said, okay, perfect. Let me refund you. So then after that message, I left it because obviously I've been in the process of moving because it happened recently. And then I get a message the next day saying, I'm going through some challenges emotionally and in another business. And I'm like, ah. And then it was a heartfelt message he sent back to me. I could feel the emotion in his voice. And the point that I'm getting to here is that, you know, it was challenges with his relationship, challenges with another business that he's involved in, and that was creating this, I guess, the stress and the thoughts of being in this really bad space, let's say mentally. And even though he was getting results, he was just not in a great place. And so the way he responded was to be an outlet with regards to his business, to say, look, I've got to quit that because I can't cope with whatever's going on. But in the end, his openness came from me triggering, saying, look, all right, no worries, let's get you off the program, let's refund you. And it was at that point he was able to open up. And I'm going to come to ways that you can cope with stress in a moment, but I'm sharing this story so you can see that a lot of the times when we're going through difficult situations, it might be that we just haven't given ourselves the chance just to kind of stop and like really look around. And sometimes we don't have it in us mentally because we're so consumed with the stress and the activities that are going on in relationships, that we haven't given ourselves the space to be mindful, to be in the moment, to be present and aware. And this can happen because we're just so distracted by different things. But I just want to share that with you because relationships, it's probably one of the most powerful places of where stress comes from. Intimate relationships, relationships with your close family, could be your parents, could be your brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, and just relationships with people in your community or whatever. And the biggest thing for me is that looking at those relationships is the place where a lot of stress will come from. Could even be work colleagues or employees. The other place, of course, for stress is financial crisis. And you're going through some difficult times with money, and it's not flowing, and you've got a lot of commitments. I know recently I was dealing with another client, and they're in such a financial turmoil. They've got bailiffs knocking on the door, and that's not easy as well. Dealing with people who are coming to collect, and you don't have the money to pay. So for me, all of these things are challenging places, and they can consume your thoughts, just like the quote from Wayne Dyer. And for me, it really is like just understanding like what's going on, where is this stress coming from. Um, Unpleasant work environments, another place of stress, and this can be stressful if you're an employee or the actual business owner. Especially if you're the business owner and you've got employees who are toxic or employees that aren't pulling their weight. And I guess from a place of true ownership, sometimes it can be that you haven't instilled the culture in your business for that person to buy into, or for the group of people to buy into as your team. And when you start to take full ownership, you start to realize that actually if I instill culture and I can employ the right people because they express the right types of values and traits, then I can have the right people. But again, causes of stress, unpleasant workplace, and as I said, team, employees, suppliers, generally the culture of the business. And the thing is, these causes of stress, they often lead us towards unhealthy coping behaviors in order to escape the pain of stress. And it's funny, the word pain, because it's a physical thing, right? Stress is thinking, and yet the pain manifests itself into physical, especially when the situation seems hopeless. And this is the whole point of, going through stress. It can create this place of like hopelessness, and I guess that's a challenge in itself. So what can you do? Well, how can you cope with stress? So here are some ways to cope. Mindfulness. Now, I remember hearing this term quite a lot, especially when I got into personal development. I never really understood what it was, but mindfulness is the practice of becoming more fully aware of the present moment. So non-judgmentally and completely. So what does that mean? It simply means that you can be in the moment and say, right, let me take a kind of outer body experience, or look from the outside in of what's going on, and just look at the situation rather than being consumed and in the middle or in the thick of it. But just understand like what's actually going on here. I'll give you a quick example. I remember before, a couple of years ago, I was hit with this £14,000 refund, and it was like all requested at the same time by this one client who I had a great experience with. And we were getting results, but I just, I didn't get it. And when I saw the refund email come through from Stripe, which is the payment processor, I remember feeling my body just like kind of tense. And in that moment, it was so bizarre. I remember like, Leon, why are you feeling like this? So I'd gone from like intense stress to the physical feeling of my body feeling tense, and like as if I was ready to fight somebody, and just like it was almost uncontrollable, like tenseness. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like what's going on? And I thought, I'm not going to react this way. And in the moment, like, probably 5, 10 seconds after, I just calm myself down. And so mindfulness is just the practice of becoming fully aware and not being consumed by the feeling, but being aware of what's going on and understanding the feeling, understanding the state that you're in, and just choosing something different. Um, Unfortunately, what I found out in the end is that the person who requested the refund was actually going through some financial challenges, and they just did it, the thing that they thought was best, which was just to claw back every bit of cash they'd paid out from different people. And in the end, the refund was reversed, fortunately, because I had evidence of all the results and everything we've got. But I just remember it was the mindfulness that I was in at that particular moment, to just kind of feel calm and just like stop this stress and tense feeling behavior, and say, right, what's going on here, and just chill out. So mindfulness, it's a really great thing to start to increase your awareness towards. Now, and distraction can go two ways. It can go negatively, because you distract yourself away from the stress and not deal with it. But you can also distract yourself in a positive way, something that will change your state, like a movie that is a good movie. It will get you in the right spirits. It could be music. Music's a really good one for me. I can flick on a certain playlist, and that playlist will just put me in the right state. It could even just be one song, and whatever works for you. Just look at how you can distract yourself positively, exercise, or even just being around friends, certain people that just are really good for you, friends, family. Another way to cope, block off time for journaling. So, it could be first thing in the morning, um, time for nature, just going for a walk outside. And if the walk where you are isn't great, then purposefully choose somewhere else to go. Choose a different route you've never gone before. Just something that gets your mind, off the topic, and into a different place of creativity and experiences. And blocking off time, just free time, is a great thing. Because in this day and age, we're kind of consumed with busyness, constant notifications from social media. Lockdown is also intense for a lot of people around the world, and so free time away from even the people who are in your family or in your house, sometimes that's a good thing, because with the lockdown, a lot of people have been kind of compressed together and boxed in many respects. And especially children in this time of lockdown, is not a great thing, especially in the UK. Kids haven't been to school, so therefore they don't get to see their friends. And so this can create like a lot of stress. And as a parent, obviously it can also create stress, because you've got kids around you under your heels and different things. But the more you create free time, the better it is that you'll be able to cope with what's going on. Here's a couple of other ones. So practice meditation. It allows you to take a break from, the rumination by actively redirecting your thoughts, and provides practicing choosing your thoughts. And I guess this is the biggest thing about meditation, choosing your thoughts. And, I want to go back to the quote from Wayne Dyer. It's only people engaged in stressful thinking. So meditation is how you choose your thoughts, which can help eliminate some of the emotional stress in the long term. It can do a lot more things for you as well once you start practicing meditation. And the final one, guys, of how to cope with stress, emotional stress as a business owner is talk to a therapist. If you need further help, and you find that whatever ways you've tried just are not working, just get some professional help. And it's not a bad thing. It's actually, finding a solution to stress is a good thing. And I know from especially a masculine point of view, male point of view, a lot of guys, we tend to I guess turn away from this type of thing, getting a therapist and the I guess the label you can probably pick up with having a therapist. And I remember watching the American Gangster series. Can't remember what it was. It was from like the early 2000s. Um, but anyway, the main character, he would have a therapist, and he was like this the head of the family, the mob boss, and he would actively have a therapist. And you think of somebody like that, even though it was like fictional, but somebody who, is this head of this mob family and doing all these illegal activities, but yet he needed a therapist and he was okay with it. So the point I'm getting to is that, there are times where we've tried to cope with something and deal with it and we can't, and we need external help. And the external help is what will help us redirect our own ability to help ourselves. But the external help is a good way just to start that process of awareness, process of assistance, that you can move into this place of mindfulness and really understand how to redirect your thoughts to the things that you do want to be focused on and thinking of. So those are 5 different ways that you can cope with emotional stress. So let's wrap this up, guys. Set peace of mind as your highest goal and organize your life around it, from Brian Tracy. I like this. It's very simple. Peace of mind is the opposite of stress, because stress is where you're not in peace. And if you set it as your highest goal and you organize your life around it, it means you're going to start to organize your thoughts around this goal. And I think, and I know, and I also have experienced and experience is that the more that you can put your place into an objective place of awareness, the more that you can, look from a place of, peace of mind and where you want life to be, rather than consumed and caught up in stress, the better life is. It really is that simple, in the sense of, what you can do. Being in emotion and going through those emotional challenges isn't simple, isn't easy. And sometimes, these things can be really intense. You might be experiencing health challenges, or somebody near to you, close to you, might be experiencing health challenges. And sometimes these things are things that you can't control, and you can't control who they're happening to and whether they're happening to you. But what you can control and what you can work on more is your response to it, your thinking around, and your thinking, during the times of stress. And that's the key, guys. Like, there will always be different stresses related to different things: relationships, health, work, all the above that I mentioned at the beginning of this. But how you respond to it is the key, and you have that ability to respond in a way that supports you and your life. And that's the message that I want to leave you guys. So thanks for watching today. It's a really important topic, just because, like, I know so many people go through it. And I guess the next step for me is, if you want help and you want to change, where your business is going in 2021, and you want to move beyond financial challenges in your business that are stressing you out, and you want to get to, a new level in your business, then I'd love for you to comment below this video, and I will send you details. So just comment more. Um, and I'll send you the details on how you can take your business to the next level with the programs that I run. And finally, guys, just to wrap up again, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've enjoyed watching this video today. Just go to leonstreet.com/YouTube, or just search for Leon Street on YouTube and you'll see the channel. Hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell to be notified of all upcoming videos. And on that note, guys, I hope you have a less stressful Sunday and week ahead, and that you're in a better place to go and make things happen, and engage in more positive and creative thinking rather than the stressful stuff. So On that note, guys, take care. Have a great one. Bye bye.